Hello everyone. I think we're up and running. Sorry for this little short delay. It's already a classic. You guys know how it is. If you do enjoy the content, don't forget, please don't drop that like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel. So thank you very much for your support. Number one, I would like to say thanks to Sarah. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, for the first super chat and 22 euros. Oh my god. So I do have very loyal followers. So yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. You don't need to do it. I much rather have you invest in yourself. But thank you very much in any case. Guys, as you come in, please let me know if you hear me well, if everything is good. Drop that like and subscribe upon entry. That would be extremely appreciated. So I would like to thank all of you for your support in advance. If you do have some questions for me, please just feel free to drop them. In any case, let's kickstart it. So, very volatile start of the year. Oh, thank you, KB. Thank you for that comment. Now, I just wanted to say, to start with the live stream of today, is that, as expected, I did mention at the end of 2023 that I did expect a very volatile year. It's an election year. This is a year where it's crucial to see the big picture, kind of tune out from all the noise and madness going around, because it's a very easy year to get overwhelmed and make some huge mistakes. Expect a lot of big drops, but also quite the big pumps. So if you don't step out and see the bigger picture, you're gonna end up, slicing and dicing yourself, trying to trade too much the markets, and that's, in my opinion, is not a good idea. In any case, guys, let's start with a quick update on the stock market. As I mentioned, very volatile. Interest rates are up, which means bond prices are down. They went down quite aggressively, which means stock market gets also impacted. And now we are starting to see also the effect in commodities such as gold, which is almost below its $2,000 mark. And that is something that you would see typically in situations like this. I will leave crypto a little bit out of this, but it's going to be the main point of focus for the last 15 minutes or so. And what I would like to say is that 2024, we just came from an extremely strong Q4 2023. If you actually checked what the majority of asset managers, of the newspapers, of the Financial Times, all of these were expecting, it's just going to continue into Q1 2024 because things are getting better and the Fed won the war on inflation and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff, which should tell you that the beginning of the year should see some sell-off. Now, what we've been seeing, now let's not go crazy at the same time, because we are basically selling off into, 15 days, 20 days away, 20 days pricing. So, that's not a crash, right? It's a little bit like, Bitcoin crashed, it crashed to last 3 weeks price. Okay, fine. If that is your standard for crashes nowadays, I cannot really help you. It is what it is. What to expect this year? I do expect it to be a green year. It's not going to be, in my opinion, a strong year, such a strong year like 2023. I do expect there's a very good chance for Trump to win the election. I'm not here to make judgments if that is good, if that is not good. I think it's going to be good for the stock market. That's all which means I think it's going to be good for risk assets in general. So it's going to be good for crypto. So that's all that I care about. All the rest, but I don't like him, or I like him, or I don't, that to me is irrelevant. That's not the point. It's a little bit like when we were having the discussions about the Bitcoin spot ETF, and people saying, "By God, but this is terrible for crypto." But I'm not saying if it's good or bad. I'm saying, how can we position for what's coming? I do believe economic conditions will continue to deteriorate. I do think what we need actually, and we should see them actually quite early, will be rate cuts. Now, the issue why you're seeing the sell-offs is also because the inflation data in Europe is coming hotter than expected. So a lot of investors are, extrapolating that to the US, which means the Fed cannot cut rates as everybody hoped for. And this is going to be a big problem. So basically, they are now pricing in less rate cuts than the ones that were expected. Now, the reason why to me it's not, by the way, this is normal to happen, but at the same time makes little sense, is the Fed just needs to come out and say something to the nature of, we revised the models, the economic models, for the new technologies, for the blockchain technology, for the efficiencies of artificial intelligence and all of that. And we have concluded that the 2% inflation target no longer applies. In fact, in the new economy, a 3% inflation target should be the one to be seen. That should be the one that everyone would. That's where our economy will do much better. If they do it, all of a sudden, 3.1%, 3.4%, 2.9, 2.8, 3.2, all of this doesn't matter anymore. So that's the only thing they need to do, is that. Okay? And I think what's going to happen is either something of that nature, or they eventually get inflation below 2%, which is not impossible. It would make it much easier if they cut rates. Or they would come up with an excuse such as, we need to cut rates in order to win a conflict somewhere. So this is going to be called the Operation Freedom, the Operation whatever, blah, blah, blah. The point is, this is the re-election of Biden, right? So there's no way, in my opinion, that the Fed will let him fall. To me, that's very clear. Oh, wait. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I got a lot of comments. Thank you for the great value. Profit taken when it alts perform well. It's around 25. After BTC expectedly topped in 2024. Alts performed well in the same year after Bitcoin topped the year after. Second, some alts topped around May 2021 more than September. How do we anticipate when it would top more or which part of the year? I know you can't guess everything, but try to a plan for profit taking, and just made a little article about what, Libras? About what I just said, or hopefully not about myself, my God. I think you would have something much more interesting to write than myself. By the way, Abdul, I will come back to your question. The thing is, I'm trying to leave crypto to the last 15 minutes, so I will go there, no worries, and I will answer your question. Now, what I'm trying to say here is I do expect, particularly the first quarter of the year, to be quite volatile. I do expect, if not recession, very strong signs of recession before the end of Q2, so before 30 of June. Like very clear signs, at least very, very, very clear signs that will make the Fed cut rates and basically, in an effort to try to get Biden re-elected. You see, but what people get differently, and what I do believe people actually get particularly wrong here, is that everyone is desperate for rate cuts, and they forget that the long-term bonds were trading at about 150 basis points, that's 1.5% below the Fed funds rate. That means that the market has already priced in rate cuts of 150 basis points, or 1.5%, the same thing, within 2024. So usually what happens, very similar to the Bitcoin halving, is everybody buys into the cuts, and then when the cuts actually happen, you have a big sell-off for quite some time. Okay. Oh yeah, no, thank you, Livers. Yeah, no, indeed. I am writing. I've been discussing this quite a bit. No, but I mean, for the stocks in general, this is important to say, is the bond market will be key. Bond market going down, it's fine. Going down 1.5% per day, not fine. And the ones that are particularly affected by this are the Russell 2000. The reason is they are the small companies. These are the companies that are mostly zombie companies, a product of money printing and QE, which means that when rates go up, they get higher affected than the bigger ones. So this is something to keep in mind. So that's why when I made the prediction of new all-time highs before end of March 2024, for the Nasdaq 100 already happened, the Dow Jones already happened, S&P 500 almost already happened. We actually traded above the previous all-time high close, but we didn't close above it. And I kept away the Russell 2000 from that prediction is because, in my opinion, is heavily tilted towards zombie companies that actually will struggle until rates go back to 0% or something like that. Now let's go to the crypto world. As I've mentioned this many times, but I'll do it once again, the Q4 of the year before the halving, Bitcoin outperforms, which is what they've done. Bitcoin has outperformed. I mean, of course, you're going to find one altcoin that went up more than Bitcoin, but in general, it outperformed the market, the crypto market, in the later part of 2023, so between October and December 2023. Then I said, okay, Ethereum should now start outperform more clearly Bitcoin. This is something that happens during the year of the halving between January and February. I believe year to date, Ethereum is gaining 12% on Bitcoin. Let me see. ETH to BTC. Give me 1 second and I will tell you. ETH to BTC. Yeah, it's about 11.5% outperforming Bitcoin. That's still on target. And then you're going to have, I hope, a proper altcoin season. We've had some altcoins moving, but you're going to have a proper altcoin season coming typically second half of February into March, into the halving. Bitcoin tends to top ahead of the market. 28 days later, Ethereum tops, and then altcoins top afterwards. So one of the things that I wanted to see and that I saw was the Bitcoin ETFs coming before the halving. I didn't want them to come in October or November because I thought that that could derail the market, the cycles, but coming before the halving, in theory, we still should be fine. Now, the big deal about the ETFs is the majority of asset managers, let's say BlackRock can do whatever they want, but let's say, pension fund, whatever. They are typically not allowed to go and buy things like spot Bitcoin or actually commodities in general. They are allowed to buy instruments, to investment instruments, like the S&P 500, for example, but they are not allowed to go and buy certain type of assets. So what the spot ETF allows is for asset managers to start include them as part of 401ks in the US, for example. I mean, when I'm saying a portion, talk about like 5%, 1%, 3%. I mean, I'm not talking about 100% Bitcoin, because I've heard some people saying that. No, but it allows for the big players to start allocating some portion of investment towards crypto. That's the big advantage. And also, BlackRock already told you how they see things going forward, which is basically tokenize shares of companies and they have the stock market on blockchain instead of the way that we have today. The reason for it is less regulatory issues and way cheaper listings and things of that nature. So, for example, there have been companies already issuing digital bonds. For you to have an idea, it costs about a third of what it costs for a normal bond. So that is just an example of the crypto world, if you will, or the blockchain world, whatever you want to call it, stepping into the traditional finance world, which is the point of crypto, is eventually to replace what we have in the real world or in the traditional world. Otherwise, eventually, we run out of gas on the speculative side, right? So, but coming to Abdul's question, that part is true, which is some altcoins stopped pumping in May, some stopped pumping in September. So what I'm going to do is quite simple. When I see Bitcoin hitting 85, 90,000, I will take a little bit out, maybe 10, 15%. Why is that? Well, everyone seems to believe that Bitcoin above 100K is absolutely guaranteed. And I don't think it's guaranteed, but I do think it's highly likely that that can happen. But since everybody is so convinced of it, what if we don't? That's a possibility, right? I would call that the bearish case. I don't wish it to happen, but I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility that that could happen. So I will take a little bit out. Hopefully, my altcoins already run enough to make all my principal plus a nice profit. So if I take it out, it shouldn't be a big issue. Now, what is also important is to have a bit of a notion of where we are in the cycle. So, for example, if I'm starting to see, let's say it's October 2024, and I'm starting to see articles on how crypto will go up forever, how it's the second coming of Jesus, how these cryptos will take over all these sides of the world, and if people are paying huge amounts of money, like millions of dollars for freaking JPEGs on the internet, and basically you see, you cannot turn on your TV, there's advertisings after advertisement of crypto. If your friends come talk to you about crypto, they've never paid any attention to it. Those are all signs that the top is coming. Usually, Bitcoin has a big event that will tell you that the top is in. So in the last cycle, the top was supposed to be the Coinbase IPO. Big buy the rumor, sell the news event. Bitcoin fell out of the parabola. And we were supposed to, 65,000 should have been the top. But then a bunch of people who were not here before, like Michael Saylor, Three Arrow Capital, Celsius, BlockFi, all these companies that eventually went bankrupt, they wanted to make a new all-time high, a slight new all-time high, 69,000 in November. So they decided to put immense amount of leverage in order to make this very slightly all-time high. So if you have a big event in crypto, let's give it an example. Let's say it's end of the year and there's one or two countries in Africa or Latin America that announce that they're going to use Bitcoin as their reserves, just like El Salvador did. That's a very good sign that that's going to be the top. Now, this is important. Bitcoin top, Ethereum tops about 28 days later, altcoins top about between 2 weeks to 1 month after Ethereum. Very important. So if you see a big event like this and there's a big sell-off in Bitcoin, it's a very good sign that the top on Bitcoin may be in. So you know that you have about 1 to 2 months and then it's finished. knowing this is very important. Now, what you're saying is true, Abdul, in the sense that, the last cycle, some coins topped in May, and that was it. And others went until September. That is true. What happened in late March or early April? Coinbase IPO, Bitcoin tops, 28 days later, Ethereum tops. About May, most altcoins top, exactly the time schedule that I'm telling you. Then we had that all big buying that made a second new all-time high, very slight new all-time high in November, and then the whole thing came down. Now, if you would follow what I'm saying, and you shouldn't, by the way, because I'm not a financial advisor, but if I would apply the strategy that I just mentioned, then I would have sold the majority of my coins in April and May. So if I was unlucky and my coins actually went down, never made a new all-time high, I'm fine. It's okay. So what I'm going to be looking for late 2024 or beginning of 2025 are signs of a top. Bitcoin being made reserve of another country, Ethereum ETF. I don't know, a big corporation is acquiring a big crypto business that's gonna have crypto everywhere in the world, like something that looks so bullish that can only be bearish. And then I know more or less the timings. I know Ethereum goes 28 days later. I know altcoins go between 2 weeks to a month later. So then I will try to position myself according to that. I hope that I've answered clearly your question. Sorry, it was a bit of a long, elongated answer, but I do believe these kind of questions are quite important. And the issue, by the way, the most difficult issue will be you will not want to sell, and your mind will tell you all sorts of narratives of why this time is different, and this time it will keep on going forever up, and somehow you should stay longer or put even more money. I mean, God knows what, but our mind unfortunately plays tricks like that. Now, talking about Bitcoin, what happened? Rumors that the ETF is going to get approved. By the rumor, the day of the approval, Bitcoin spikes 49,000. What did I say? The actual trading of ETFs sell the news event. We went from 49 to 42,000. We are now at 42,300, something like that. Surprise, surprise, it happened exactly as expected. Now, there were some people in the crypto world that somehow thought that the ETFs are going to be a by the rumor, by the news event. And I said, it can be the case, but you need to understand you're betting on something that has never happened. So, I mean, good luck. Now, does this mean that Bitcoin is finished? No, it's not finished, but it will take some time to go up, particularly because there was a lot of Bitcoin locked up in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, in case you guys don't know. But once you bought via Grayscale, you used to have a certain period of time where your shares, coins would be locked. But as it's converted into an ETF, you no longer have that locking period, and a lot of people has been buying expecting for this, so they are now taking profit. I think Grayscale has something like 7,000 Bitcoins to sell. So, and they've started selling them, by the way. So that's why you're starting to see Bitcoin, selling off from time to time, as opposed to other coins going up. Now, some of these coins, as you may well know, are my retirement bags. The Pulse Chain ecosystem. Pulse Chain, PulseX, X, Richard Hart, these three. X on Ethereum as well, because I got the copy on the Pulse Chain. Hedron, Icosa, which are Alex coins, the different founder, but they operate as derivatives of the Richard Hart ecosystem. Now, when I first talked about it, first of all, I was one of the few on YouTube to ever reveal my retirement bags. Most crypto content creators, if you will, what they do is they wait for something to pump and they talk about it after the pump. Not before, not when it's unpopular. They like to talk. They either do something like this. They either talk about 1,000 coins and eventually one of them goes up, or they talk about the coins that already pumped. The reason why they do it is because it has everybody's attention. In the case of picking 1,000 coins, is if they get one right, they will say, look at how genius I am. Please buy my course. That's typically how it goes. Yes, it is. In my opinion, Archie, it is real DeFi. You see, when I announced my retirement bags at the time, I had people calling me an idiot, but in one of the nicest ways. It was actually quite interesting. They would say, look, Sudden Wealth, I like you, man. You're a nice guy. You are knowledgeable about stuff. But I think you're making a huge mistake. I mean, you're going to lose all your money. What are you thinking? Don't do it, blah, blah, blah. So a way of telling me you're an idiot, but actually while being concerned for me. So it was actually quite sweet. There were a few people who outright called me a crazy idiot and basically unsubscribed from me, which is fine. I was expecting it. But I had to be honest in my position. So you see, I talked about it when the SEC was going after Richard, when you would look at the monthly candles and were nothing but red every month. I was talking about no, that is true, German guy. I mean, even if you look at the crypto volumes there, the majority are still from Asia. So if you believe it, even the US is not that much. But in any case, I was buying very aggressively, as everybody knows, exactly when these coins were all selling off brutally. Then the ecosystem starts pumping. Certain wallets start to transfer millions of dollars into the system. I think PulseX is up 360%. Pulse is up 200+%. X is up plus 200+%. And now all of a sudden, everybody loves them. You see, this is the funny part. This is how markets work. And I've said this many times, and this is the same for the stock market. The color of the candles on the chart will tell you the narrative behind the coin or the stocks. So the reason why I like the ecosystem, extremely strong community. I mean, very cultish community, which is exactly what you want. It was so funny to me to see Bitcoiners actually saying, "Oh, X is a cult," and Bitcoin was the biggest cult. I mean, I still remember when in Satoshi we trust. Satoshi was like the Jesus of money. I mean, you name it. That's actually quite good that you have something which is like a cult. Then no VCs. For those of you who don't know, most of cryptos have venture capital firms that get extremely cheap allocations before the coin ever goes to market. So they will always dump on their following, because if you're up 10x, they are up 100 to 500x. So they will just dump on your face all day long. So Pulse Chain, PulseX, X, audited products, very high quality products, hundreds of developers working on the chain and working for new projects to be deployed on Pulse Chain. No VCs, no paid YouTubers, no paid influencers, a strong founder, no. Yes, Archie, you want a cult in crypto. I always find it so funny. To me, one of the funniest things that you see is the gold people telling Bitcoiners that they are a cult, while the gold people are a cult themselves. And then Bitcoin is telling other cryptos that the other ones are the cult. And they don't get it, that the objective, what you want, is to belong to a community that is actually a cult. That's exactly what you want. But people get these things always backwards. But what I'm trying to say is all these features, the things that made me fall in love with the ecosystem, were true regardless of the price. But because the price was going down, everything was a scam, Richard's going to jail, the project will be shut down, this will happen, that will happen, the other one will happen. And they forgot that that's exactly what people said about Bitcoin and about Ethereum, by the way, at the time. Nowadays, everyone agrees there are no scams, but unfortunately, these things take time to happen. The only thing that you need is big fat green candles, and the narratives follow. But here's the key: like, people tend to believe that, oh yeah, the projects are going up because of this and that and the other and that. It's the other way around. If the candles are green, they will give you a list of reasons why the candles are green. If the candles are red, they will give you the opposite reason, and everything is bad and everything's going to collapse and go to zero. It's always like this. And unfortunately, people, and I've said this many times before, people have many times had the opportunity to buy Bitcoin at 15,000. They don't want it. They want it at 50,000. People had the opportunity in 2020 to buy Ethereum at $88. They don't want it. They want to buy Ethereum at $3,000. So on and so forth. This is what people, they always go the wrong direction, unfortunately. And Richard has also announced that he's going to fight the SEC. He has about 11 of the most prestigious lawyers on this side, which means, if you account for the teams, something like 100 lawyers. And those projects were made in a way to always be compliant with SEC ruling. And I do believe they are actually filing for an early dismissal because there are no grounds for the accusations. Now, let's see if that goes through or not. If it does, I do believe it's going to be a big catalyst. In any case, the SEC has lost so many cases that every win that you have against them is now getting reduced in impact. The reason is, again, same story. The more you see of the same thing, the less effect it starts to have. The point is, I always believed it to be a strong ecosystem. Same thing that I've mentioned about Chainlink, something that I've mentioned about Cardano. Now, to me, I see more value in X, Pulsion, and PulseX, but that's me. I mean, it's just my opinion. But my point, what I'm trying to tell you is, this has been my opinion in June 2023, where everything was going down, in September 2023, and now, it doesn't matter. My position has not changed. But now, it's so funny to see that all the people that were so doubtful of the projects are now, all of a sudden, they were always big fans. Sure, I do believe that ecosystem will outperform pretty much anything, and we'll see if I'm right. If I'm right, well, generational wealth will be incoming. If I'm really right, generational wealth will be incoming. If I'm just right, retirement will be coming. Yeah, if I'm somewhat right, well, I get a free house. So, seems like a good deal for a person in my age, in my opinion. But I do believe that there's a very good potential on this ecosystem. So I'll be reporting it once again. The courage is in talking about it when it's not so popular, when it's hard. And I want to end the live stream with this message. As we enter into the full bull market. By the way, don't forget, I do think we're gonna go up until the halving, and then another big sell-off, and then eventually we start to go up. Altcoins tend to peak 1 year after the halving, so you take that as you will. Yeah, I mean, no, German guy, no, thank you for your comment. Sorry, I was reading it and I got kind of dropped here. I do believe that this cycle will still be extremely strong, but you may have noticed that there are diminishing returns in every cycle. But the point is, the bull cycle will come. And so the new wave of YouTubers and people trying to sell stuff to you and tricking you will reach, unfortunately, all-time highs once again. Now, they will leverage the fact that everything is going up pretty much. You'll think they are geniuses, but people will try to be selling stuff to you. Now, what I will tell you is this. If a person is so successful, if a person is making so much money with their coins going up, why do they need to sell you stuff for $20, $300, $500? So before you spend money on any of that crap, just think to yourselves, why would someone be charging me this to train me into their secrets if they can just buy a coin and basically retire immediately? The reason is they cannot do it. But they will be very good at convincing you that they can. And once the bear market comes, and it will come, it will be against their best interest to tell you about it. You see, when we are in the euphoric phase, everybody will come up with narratives of why this time is different, this time we broke the cycle, this time we have institutional money, this time we have this, and that. And that's why we're not going to have the bear market. And when everybody's convinced of it, they will, then you will have the bear market. After everybody's convinced that that's the case, that there's no way this is going to go down, that's when it goes down. And these people, these content creators, if you will never tell you that, I'm seeing top signals, I'm seeing that the likelihood that we start going down is increasing. They will not tell you that, because probably when I will say that, I will lose followers and people will get really pissed at me. Now, I will need to tell the truth, because that's the basis of my channel. I'm different than the pumpers that you see out there, that they will do anything for views, and if they screw thousands of people, well, so be it. So I'm not like that, so I will need to tell you the truth. But the problem is you won't like it, because you're gonna have too much fun in the bull market. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not telling you to listen to me, to follow me, to do anything like that. What I'm telling you is, be aware that these people will multiply and will start popping everywhere, and they just care about ad revenue, selling stuff to you, that's it. So you need to be extremely careful, because they will be right, or they will appear to be right in the very short term, because you're going to be in the euphoric phase of crypto where basically everything goes up. And they will look like geniuses for about 3 months. And then you will see exactly and truthfully who they really are. So be very careful with that, guys. This happens constantly. I'll keep you some updates on my retirement bags. I do believe we are up for some very explosive and nice times. With that, guys, thank you very much, Archie. Thank you very much, guys, for coming here. And thank you, Sarah, once again, for that super chat. That was really nice of you. And with that, I leave you guys. I wish you all the best. I will probably post a video either tomorrow or Friday. In any case, have fun, be careful, be aware. Good times are coming. Thank you very much once again for all the comments. If you guys watch this after, well, when I'm no longer live, always drop some questions in the comment section. I'll try to make a video about those. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll